So, Mr. Anis Nizam, my first question is from a legal perspective, what type of business entity is Lockheed Martin?
Lockheed Martin is a corporation. As you probably know after taking this class, a corporation is a separate legal entity that's independent from its principals. There's a lot of benefits of being a corporation. Lockheed Martin's a publicly held corporation, and as a result, we have a lot of federal and state regulations that we have to comply with. We get closely scrutinized by regulatory agencies as well as our shareholders because we're supposed to be doing what's in the best interest for them. Probably the biggest benefit of a corporation is that you're able to raise the capital that you need through the issuance of stock. You get issued to that stock to the shareholders who are the owners, as I mentioned before. You probably also learned in your class the biggest advantage, or probably what's very unique in this feature, is that there's a limited liability of asset for the owners. There's a separation there where the owners are they have the shares, but then the people who are acting on their behalf are separate.
Thank you. So my next question is, what is the firm's most important contract or contractual relationship?
I would say the most important contractual relationship or contractual agreement that we have involves our negotiations with our customer, which was primarily the U.S. government. We spend a lot of time trying to put ourselves in a position to be able to be profitable because that's what a company wants to do at the end of the day. In response to expensive defense contracts and a lot of cost overruns over the last 20 years, the customer or the government has really come down and been adamant about trying to transition to a firm fixed price contract as opposed to a cost plus contract. So just to kind of give you an idea of that, the firm fixed price would be, let's say the government came to us and they wanted us to build a helicopter, and they're saying they're going to give us $100 million. So if it cost us $90 million to build that helicopter, we now have $10 million in profit. Whereas if it cost us $110 million, we now overran and we had to take that $10 million out of our own bank account. Whereas in the past, contractually, we were able to get into a cost plus environment where we would basically bill the government for any cost, reimburse all those costs, and then obtain a separate percentage for a fee for our profits. This shift now puts the risk on us as a corporation to be able to perform to what we sign up for when we sign that contract.
Thank you. My next question is, what is the firm's most valuable type of intellectual property?
I would say the most valuable type of intellectual property that we possess at Lockheed Martin is most definitely our trade secrets. Those are things like our new advanced manufacturing designs, our manufacturing processes, how we build certain things, how we integrate and assemble those things for final integration. We take those trade secrets very, very seriously. In fact, every time we send an email, for example, we have to mark what type of information is possessed in that email. If we're sending it to somebody within our own firewall, we still have to mark and say if it has some type of proprietary information or a trade secret, so that the individuals who receive that email know that they can't forward that along or share that information. Similarly, every work instruction that we have that tells our operators how to build something is marked at the bottom with a Lockheed Martin proprietary trade secret mark, so that when they see that paper, again, they have to safeguard it, and then when they're going to go dispose of it, they have to go dispose of it in the appropriate place. We have separate containers throughout the facility to dispose of that, and then we have a security team, a special security team that comes in and makes sure that gets disposed of properly so that nobody can get their hands on it. We make a real big effort, like I said, to safeguard that, so I can almost guarantee that in any type of court that you go to, if somebody were to challenge us and say that that's not a trade secret, we would win that case.
Thank you. Can you share with us who is the firm's most essential or important agent?
Sure. Probably the most essential agent of the firm is going to be the executive vice president of each business area. We have 4 business areas at Lockheed Martin. Each of them has an executive vice president who has the authority to act on behalf of that business area, act on behalf of that corporation, and make contractual commitments with our customers. So they're the ones who are binding us and tying us in and really saying that yes, we're going to make these expenditures to be able to go build product XYZ for our customer. They're definitely an employee of the corporation with that much latitude and that much control and authority. You most definitely can't give that to an independent contractor. Typically we use our independent contractors for things like We'll give them a certain task we want them to accomplish, but then we'll leave it open as to how they're going to go and fulfill those requirements. Whereas an employee, they have very structured things that the corporation hands down to them that we must all follow.
Thank you. So my another question is, what is the most important lawsuit the firm is facing today?
I really can't get into the specifics of current lawsuits, but I can tell you about one that we just wrapped up that had to do with how we bid a contract that the U.S. Army had come out and set some parameters for. So we recently bid on it was over a $6 billion contract for the U.S. Army. We wanted to replace over 55,000 Humvee vehicles for them. Basically, long story short, at the end, when the government awarded that contract, they decided to go with one of our competitors. Obviously, we were very disappointed in that, and we came to find out that the competitor who had won had received some information in the bidding process that we had not received until very late in the game, which we felt like put us at a significant disadvantage and allowed them to capitalize on that information. It allowed them to meet the customer's needs in a better way. So we protested that award. We tried to show them that that wasn't fair, that put us at a disadvantage. Ultimately though, once we started consulting with our lawyers and some preliminary information that we got from the government, we saw that we really didn't perform well when it came to reliability of our vehicle versus their vehicle. Their mean time to failure was much higher. Their mean time between failures was much higher than ours, so the government thought that their vehicle was more reliable, so the product was better, the customer went to them, and fortunately we didn't get it, but hopefully we'll be in the running for it next time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Could you please describe the firm's commitment to ethics and its ethical culture?
Yeah, Lockheed Martin's business success really depends on our commitment to integrity. It's not just, ethics is not simply just complying with laws and regulations. It really comes down to doing what is right every day. And that really starts with our corporate vision. If you want to make sure that your corporate vision has ethics tied into it. So we really want to be the global leader in the defense industry, but we want to do it according to our values. And our values really boil down to three things: doing what's right, respecting others, and performing with excellence. When employees have ethical issues that come up in their workplace, we have different avenues for them to go and see if that's something that is a problem, if that's something that needs to be investigated. We have an entire line of business dedicated to ethics. We have a director of ethics. We have different senior managers. We have a whole department allocated to that, which is fairly unique in a corporation. Okay?
Thank you.
And then finally, just to kind of show you what's involved in our ethics here, we typically, no, that's not going to work, cut it.